Hello, welcome to Invictus Motors for a review and a comparison of these two Aston Martins, the Vantage and the DB9. Not going to bore you with the history of these two because it will take a whole review and a video in itself, but the Vantage, the original Vantage, was the first supercar that came out of England, outperforming in its heydays the likes of the Ferrari 365 Daytona, the Lamborghini Countach and even the mighty Porsche 911 Turbo, whereas the DB9 here was first introduced in 2003 at the Frankfurt Motor Show as the successor to the DB7. This DB9 was built in the brand new Gaydon factory here in England, and we're going to get right into it to tell you more about the two. From a styling point of view, you could have had the DB9 as a convertible or a coupe. The convertible were known as the Volante, and this is the ultimate Grand Tourer car. It doesn't get any more comfortable and at the same time in some way sportier than this, whereas the Vantage was the direct competition to the Porsche 911 in 2004. I mean, both of these cars and the styling of the two Astons here has aged like an extremely good wine. The DB9 in 2007 went through a bit of an upgrade phase where the electrical components, new seat designs, lowered suspension and a few other minor tweaks were introduced, whereas the Vantage in 2006 were offered not only just as a 4.3 litre but as a 4.7 litre, and you could spec this both as a stick shift manual or a sport shift automatic, and so could you with the DB9. But in terms of styling, you can really see the aggressive lines on the Vantage in comparison to the softer, more sort of fluid lines on the DB9. Well, from a purist enthusiast point of view, you would always, driver focused wise, take the Vantage as opposed to the DB9. But if you want something to live with and daily and sort of drive every single day and enjoy the comfort of it as well as the styling of it, you take the DB9. But really, it depends on a personal choice. What do you want? Do you want this aggressive, gruntier, driver-focused car, or do you want the ultimate, in my opinion, Grand Tourer that gives you not only this Aston Martin swag that is so well known for, but at the same time all the performance that you would need, because the V12 6 litre, in my opinion, is just way too powerful for me, whereas the Vantage has enough power where I can actually enjoy and push it, and we will get to that bit in a minute where we will test drive it. Well, let's find out what they're like to drive. Both the Vantage and the DB9 are absolutely phenomenal cars. But if you're looking for the everyday comfort from the car, and you can daily and cruise along in, and as I said, drive down to the south of France and not have backaches or not have the constant throng of the engine or the exhaust system, then you definitely take the DB9 as opposed to the Vantage. I mean, this gearbox is just phenomenal. It is the 6-speed Touchtronic gearbox. The gear changes are so fluid. At no point do you feel like you're struggling or that you're getting a shunt from gear to a gear. And the best thing about it is it's got paddle shifts, so should you want to, you can just press the down. We're in fourth, now third. And really the sweet spot of this DB9 is 4,000 RPM and above. And something that a friend of mine shared with me, that the DB9 has a lot of racing heritage and pedigree, that most of the weight from the V12 engine is behind the front axle, so the weight distribution is absolutely nuts. I mean, this is a very nuts in the sense it's balanced, so let's get that right on the record. I mean, this really goes, it flies, absolutely does. And at the minute, as it stands, this isn't even in sports mode. This is in the normal, standard auto mode right now. So wait till we actually put it. Wait till we actually put it in sports mode in a minute. It does come alive. Unfortunately, we've got a bit of traffic up ahead of us. We'll do what we can to depict the feeling of this being in sports mode. We're in auto, so dropped it to third, second. Now into third. The Vantage also have some racing pedigree. They were also raced, and obviously the Vantage is the more driver-focused, sportier car. But the DB9 in no way, form or shape is the lesser of the two car. Well, this has the V12, the 6-litre engine, and as discussed, the performance is, you know, from a technical point of view, obviously more brake horsepower in the DB9, 450 brake horsepower, 570 Newton meters of torque. The 0 to 60 is 4.9 seconds. This in some ways is the quicker and the better performing car. In terms of the rest of the interior, you're obviously sitting in sports seats. They're electrically adjustable and they're also heated. what was it like? I mean, let's get you guys into it as well. What was it like driving the DB9?
Okay, well, the Vantage, it's a 4.7 litre V8, and you really feel the grunt of that V8. It's a visceral experience driving a Vantage. The gear changes are not what you call smooth or GT-like. They're very much like a racing transmission, and what you're feeling is real connection with the road, with the car, and you're feeling a lot of power in your control. And because it's a short wheelbase car, relatively short to a GT car like the DB9, what you're very much conscious that you're wrapped around the mechanism of the car, and that you're feeling something which is very raw and very exciting. You know, if you want an exciting driving experience, all I'd say is the Vantage is a great car to experience that in.
The V12 versus the V8. Performance-wise, this produces 450 brake horsepower versus the Vantage 420 brake horsepower. Newton meter torque-wise, this produces 570 versus 470. The 0 to 60, the Vantage edges the DB9 by 0.1 second at 4.8 seconds for 0 to 60 miles per hour, and this is 4.9 seconds for the 0 to 60 miles per hour. That's because the Vantage is that slightly lighter and aggressive and driver-focused car, whereas the V12 is, at the end of the day, you know, that tiny bit heavier to give you that grounded Grand Tourer feel. But the styling combined with the performance that both these cars offer is, in my opinion, not comparable to many sports cars out there. And for the money both of these are worth, from what they were originally worth, brand new, in excess of £100,000, I think they are now absolutely phenomenal value for money. And on the subject of phenomenal value for money, because that is another core part of this review, the comparison and the video, is that both of these cars cost in 2021 very similar money. This is currently at about £32,000 versus £42,000. But again, it definitely depends on the mileage, the spec, and sort of the condition, the service history, and what kind of maintenance is had over the years. So at the minute, as it stands, both of them are absolutely phenomenal value for money. So whether you choose the DB9 or the Vantage, it's a personal choice. At the end of the day, what would I have between the two? Well, definitely the Vantage, not the DB9. I've still got a long life to live, and when I get a little bit older and maybe prefer the nicer, softer style of driving, I'll move into the DB9. For now, I'll stick to the Vantage. Styling wise, these two are fundamentally two very different cars. The DB9 is there should you want to drive down to the south of France and have a nice, comfortable cruising, whereas the Vantage is the agile, nimbler, gruntier, sportier car. But from a spec point of view, you can individualize both of these at the time brand new at Aston Martin as you liked. This has the 19-inch 20-spoke alloys versus the 19-inch 15-spoke alloys. This is a blue sapphire metallic versus onyx black. But the comparison doesn't just, I wouldn't say the differences aren't really out there from a softer interior and exterior spec point of view. Because if I ask my cameraman to come onto the inside, both these cars are rather similar in terms of how they're spec'd and in some ways how they look. But the DB9 is definitely much longer from a size point of view. Now on the Vantage, on the inside, you've got the sport seats with black leather, and you've got this diamond stitching all around. And the entertainment setup, and sort of the buttons here, the sport shift setup, is extremely similar to the DB9. In some ways, almost identical. But what I would like to say is that this button setup here in the middle, you know, some people almost refer to it as the Ferrari-like button setup. But as a matter of fact, it was the Aston Martin that first introduced the drive, neutral, and reverse button, and Ferrari actually copied it. So let's get onto the inside of the DB9. Okay. And now onto the inside of the DB9. You've got blue leather with sport seats, and again, as I said, a very similar setup as the Vantage. Yes, the central console is a bit wider, and you probably have a few smaller differences, but overall, interior, exterior wise, they are extremely similar. Yes, size and the ultimate styling, the ultimate purpose, the performance capability of it, they are, you know, the earth and the sky apart. Well, just want to say thank you to Zaheer for being here, you know, visiting us and supporting us on YouTube, and for being an amazing fan, and for, you know, contributing to this video, for driving the Vantage so we could do a comparison between the DB9. I hope you guys have enjoyed the comparison. For more content like this, just comment and let us know what we could do better. In the meantime, don't forget to comment, like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Behind the scene at Invictus Motors, come over to the director's table. The script for the Vantage and the script for the DB9. So there's a lot of prep and effort that goes into creating our phenomenal videos. This is fantastic.